Once again, we find ourselves in record territory for gold, which I must admit I did not anticipate happening so soon. How much longer this continues, though, is the true mystery. The story of whether or not gold prices can keep rising from here will be told by what occurs next. We can discuss it while we go on our adventure. This is going down in history as another record-breaking day for gold, occurring on September 2nd, 2025. Gold hit an all-time high of just around $3,500 per ounce last year and early this year. This is after adjusting for inflation, but it's impossible to tell now, since everything is moving so quickly. I agree with that. Seeing gold at this high is incredible, but inflation is a major factor here. There is a widespread belief that gold will prevail in this situation. Even ignoring inflation, silver still has a ways to go before reaching an all-time high, folks. That is why I believe we should exercise extreme caution when considering the future of gold. This is why I will reveal it to you towards the end of the film. How to keep an eye on things to determine their outcome. Oh, and it's after the Fed has made a decision, by the way. Summit Metals is our channel sponsor, so I want to remind you of them before we get there. They aren't paying me to try to sell you any gold or silver by promising that prices would skyrocket. Definitely not. Being financially and situationally conscientious is it. Put the hype out of your mind, no matter who it is, even this channel. I may have been slightly too optimistic about both metals recently. As far as price projections are concerned, it appears to be correct. Today, I was actually just 1 cent short of that mark while dealing with silver. On the other hand, we'll cover that in a separate video. Today, though, gold reigns supreme. Its performance has been excellent. Gold is up 1.74% just before the market closes. When you consider its performance over the last year, though, you'll see that it has truly burst, reaching a level that well exceeds its all-time high here at $3,536. Actually, we're still $70 short of our $70 high-low move from earlier today. Gold surpassed the psychological $3,500 threshold Wednesday, reaching a high of $3,540.80. It is very astounding to witness that. When it comes to the percentage change, though, the Kitco data is completely off. Even though I can't say for sure, I do think that today's gold price rise will be more than 2%. And that would undoubtedly result in a price spike and surge in just one day. The price of silver has also risen substantially. It's just under $41. Rhodium and platinum have both experienced significant price increases recently. However, hey, seeing what gold is up to is intriguing, but we'll get to that in a separate film. Everyone is on edge because they don't know what the Federal Reserve will do, and since Trump fired the governor of the Board of Governors there. However, Reuters notes that the most recent surge in gold prices was caused by speculation about US interest rate reduction and worries about the independence of the Federal Reserve. Prices are expected to reach fresh highs in the coming weeks, driven by robust demand from investors and the central bank. Spot gold, which reached a new high on Tuesday, is expected to go into a $3,600 to $3,900 range in the near to medium term, according to analysts. If economic and geopolitical uncertainties continue, it might even test $4,000 an ounce in 2026. People, that is the most important thing. How long will they last? Is the current situation an exaggeration? As a matter of fact, I think it's probably the case. This is like typical according to what I've seen in the markets. All this hubbub around the board governor's dismissal is, in my opinion, unnecessary. The fact that she remains or leaves is completely irrelevant. Those of us who have been keeping up with politics, the news in general, and monetary concerns have long questioned the Fed's independence. It's never operated on its own. Actually, I'd go so far as to claim it has never been truly autonomous since its creation, prior to its full implementation under the Federal Reserve Act. That date alone tells you exactly what happened starting on December 23rd, 1913, when the act was put into action, folks. Why has it become a political issue? Reason being, nobody was paying attention when they passed it on Christmas Eve, just before everyone went on vacation. You should have all the information you need from that. The last time this was done was more than a century ago. Regardless, it is the current situation. Reuters polls show that analysts' average price forecast for 2025 has been progressively increasing from $27.56 per ounce in January to $3,065 in April, and most recently to $32.20 in July. Gold has gained more than 34% this year. The market wagered on a rate cut in September because of growing concerns about the economy, which Fed Chief Jerome Powell has acknowledged. Expectations of Fed cutbacks, investor distance from US assets, and tariff-related economic uncertainties all contribute to a gloomy dollar picture, which in turn supports gold. Ricardo Evangelista claims as much. Furthermore, since Donald Trump's re-election in January, the value of the dollar has declined by almost 11%. When the dollar weakens, holders of other currencies and the greenback price gold benefit. Also, I don't think it's secret that Donald Trump wants the dollar to be lower than other currencies. We call it a leverage tool. During his first term, he brought this up. However, the dollar's current behavior is unclear. You guessed it, it's up. Actually, at this very moment, the dollar is up a little bit. Despite that, gold and silver are both up, and the score is 98.33, which is higher than 97. This is really insane. Very well. Concerns about the Fed's independence have increased, leading to greater gold purchases due to Trump's criticism of Powell and attempts to oust Governor Lisa Cook. To be honest, I also think that's a bit extreme. This is why I'm going to take a risk and claim that the market's enthusiasm and speculation surrounding the Federal Reserve and its market players are driving the price movement, particularly in the gold market. Not those who specialize in analyzing the value of precious metals. It's only the general mood of the market. Markets are driven by emotions. That is something I have been stating on this channel for a long time. For this reason, I can't stop telling people that now is not the moment to invest in gold. From here, I anticipate it will likely retreat. That is an assertion that sparks debate. I'm sure a lot of you would object to that. However, I believe that a correction or pullback is likely in the near future if we do observe a gain, perhaps in the next days, perhaps not by much. In that respect, gold is more robust. On the other hand, we often see consolidation tomorrow, metaphorically speaking, and possibly even next week following a sharp surge like the one we're witnessing today. However, for fear of losing money, you should exercise caution when investing in areas where testing new heights is concerned. I always take extra precautions in these situations, and this is one of the reasons why. Could it keep going up now? Surely that is possible. It could work. Therefore, you should think about whether you should purchase it on your own. However, keeping with one of the factors we're considering could contribute to the positive argument for gold in general. According to Julius Baer, an analyst at Carsten Menke, the US dollar's role as a safe haven and the possibility of intervention with the US Federal Reserve are the unknowns. Concerns about instability in the Middle East and the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, as well as demand from central banks, especially in emerging nations, are adding to the allure of gold. The demand from central banks is the main factor that has supported the price of gold since 2022. Just so you know, it has more than quadrupled since then. Because of this, we should expect any setbacks to be mild. Put simply, I anticipate a correction or retreat, and the $3,400 range could be a possible target. We may go back to that crucial area where it stayed around the $3,333 range. That seems like a reasonable amount of backing. Even though it's an odd number, that's roughly where it has been appearing for some time. Thus, the outcome of it will be observed. This now incorporates the fact that in July, the People's Bank of China added gold to its reserves for the 9th month running. There you have it. On an unofficial basis, how much gold is China importing? It's the supposition that's adding fuel to the fire. According to statistics compiled by the World Gold Council, central banks intend to reduce their dollar reserves over the next 5 years while increasing their gold holdings relative to their reserves. Dollarization is not going away. Because of such, it will be less strong than other currencies. We should expect to see the dollar weaken in the long run. despite the fact that it is strengthening today. The most valuable metal is gold. It is the money that goes beyond the confines of the dollar's dominance and the Federal Reserve System. Michael Hussow, a precious metals analyst at Deutsche Bank, claims that some central banks' gold holdings have increased significantly due to a mix of factors, including a rising gold price and central banks' accumulation. Exchanging traded funds that are backed by gold have also witnessed substantial influxes of capital. The largest physically backed exchange-traded fund, ETF, in the world, SPDR Gold Trust, reported a 12% increase in its holdings to 977.68 tons, the highest level since August of 2022. The result is in everyone. More arguments in favor of buying gold exist than against it. However, investors may become scared and buy in anyhow. There's no stopping that from continuing to climb. Things like today, with their large surges, usually do have points of correction. Although it might not return to its previous level, I believe a correction is on the horizon, may be mistaken. Never have I claimed to be an expert, I am far from it. Please inform me of your thoughts on the matter. My favorite thing to do on my channel is to provide analysis and commentary on current events, which of course includes my own views. What I do here though, I really hope you like. If that's the case, let me know by subscribing to the channel. Sure thing. Plus, make sure you don't miss out on the newest video that comes your way by pressing the alerts bell. So, with that out of the way, I just wanted to say how much I appreciate you all watching and asking that you hit the like button and share this video with your friends. Go ahead and subscribe and leave a comment. It is